The metal motions on the air across the globe, he's everywhere. See no dust all over the place, all the lightning in his face. New school, old school doesn't care. If it rocks, you'll find it here. Look at the world, he's on the loose. The metal moose show starts right now.
Okay, here we go.
I gotta get some of those boots.
3, 2, 1.
All right, guys. So Metal Moose Radio here with Dietrich from Beauty and the Suffering.
Hello.
So this is really cool. We've spoken for years on Facebook, and I've followed the band, and we finally got to meet, and it's here in the studio, and we get to talk about the record and the new video that's dropped. And I want you to fill us in on, you know, where you came from and what you've done, and because you've done a lot of great stuff.
Where are we starting here? Let's start with the EP, I guess. We released our EP at the beginning of the year in hard copy form, and we threw a cover song on there and kind of wrapped it all in there and got that out there at the beginning of the year. And just been, you know, kind of getting some of the video and the stuff that we've been working on out there. We just dropped this week the Reveille video, and it's that part 2 of the zombie trilogy thing that we've been working on for a while. So,
what made you choose the Outfield song?
Oh, the Outfield song. Well, I mean, I had been working on about a dozen different cover songs, and for whatever reason, some of them, you know, I lost momentum. I was working on something I thought was cool, and some of these songs could still end up coming out. But the Outfield one came together fairly quickly, so I finished it quickly, and then I took it right into the studio and started tracking, and I think it turned out really cool.
Right on.
So I was pretty happy with that.
So, for people that aren't familiar with you, how do you describe Beauty and the Suffering to somebody? How do you?
Yeah, that's a tough question. I mean, I don't know what to call it. I just try to simplify it by calling it like a heavy, dark, heavy electronic rock. I guess that's a place to start.
The new video kind of reminded me a little bit of Marilyn Manson.
The new one?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So it kind of had, to me anyway. I don't know if that's what you're.
I've always told.
I loved it. I watched it and I was like, oh, this is so cool.
I've always told people that you're industrial tinged rock. You know, it's not full on Skinny Puppy. You know what I mean?
For sure.
But it's more Ministry kind of. It's really gritty with electronic in it.
Yeah, I heard a lot of that too. I think at this point, you know, industrial is definitely an influence from the 90s, and definitely the Ministry and all that stuff that came out in that 9 Inch Nails. I think that maybe our with, you know, I've called it electronic, so I don't know.
Right. Well, I mean, it's your thing, so you get to call whatever you want.
But like I said, I'm just looking, you know, for feedback and stuff. I don't know. I know that a lot of metal bands and stuff are based on, it's guitar driven, and I think that this is a little bit of a different approach because I write 95% of the material on synth bass and drums, so I'll come in with ideas, and then everything else gets filled in over the
Builds
top.
around it.
I think that the guitar in this sense is a little bit more doesn't come out to the front. It's somewhat more of an embellishment and then accessory, maybe, as opposed to being
it's used for flavor as opposed to being the foundation.
Sure,
yeah.
And I think that we shy away from guitar leads, although there's a couple that I've done in some of the other songs that haven't been released yet. I've gravitated more towards these keyboard kind of synth, you know, these leads, and I do that kind of stuff. So.
That's awesome. So you've also played with Doyle, which is a pretty awesome deal.
Yeah, that kind of came together at the beginning of last year. I was talking. I had been working with a publicist, and sooner or later, everybody kind of works with everybody. And somebody forwarded me something on Facebook that said that Doyle was looking for a bass player, and I didn't even really know who Doyle was.
Oh, wow.
At the beginning, I knew who the Misfits were, but I didn't get into the band as much to where I was breaking down the different, other than Danzig. I knew, you know, of course.
Right.
But then, you know, when I did some research and I you know, figured out what was what, and I thought this would be a cool situation. So I sent them a bunch of, I was sending out, here's this song, and then I'd play another one on bass and send them another one. I think I sent them like half the album in a day or whatever. And that's kind of, and then they just said, I don't think they had talked about they had a couple guys out in LA, but if they didn't work, that they would let me know, and I was like, well, F those guys. I'll just come out there and I'll just show up, and and then it worked out. So
that's awesome.
Everything was cool.
How was that? How was the road experience?
The tour was great. I thought it was a great experience. Good pacing. A lot of getting back out there after having not been on the road for a while. And as a bass player, I had toured in 2014 with Beauty and the Suffering, but I hadn't toured as a bass player since Marazine. So it was good to get back out there and just throw down with a little bit less pressure as opposed to fronting a show and everything, and just going out there and
getting to be a support
role. Exactly.
So speaking of Marazine, how did all of this come about, Beauty and the Suffering? You started out with them, and then what took you away from them to start with?
Well, I had been in Chicago, and we had been working on Marazine for pretty much the better part of the entire 2000 first 10 years, whatever. And we did a lot. We released an album. We worked on 3 albums. Our first album never got released. It got folded into our second album, which then we were working on a third one. What happened was that at the end of the touring in 2007 and 8, our drummer he had cancer, and what happened was he passed away, and we weren't sure what we were going to do at that point, because he was a fundamental part of the band in terms of bringing everything together and stuff like that. So we weren't sure exactly what we were going to do, and then after that, I was writing a ton, but we weren't releasing hardly anything. And we had this album that I was working on with them. I was writing all kinds of notes, all kinds of video ideas, all kinds of lyrics, all kinds of songs, and we had it very, very close. I would say 80-85%, and then for whatever reason it never came out. What we ended up doing instead was releasing the Motley Crue cover, Livewire, and then that seemed to go over pretty good. We got Twitter props from Nikki Sixx and Tommy Lee, and then we released the lead single off of there, which I still really believe in that album. I still think it would be relevant to today, but we couldn't get it out. And I think within a year, I said, you know what, I'm going to start recording this stuff and working with this stuff. And I guess we're just going to see what ends up happening. Will we end up, will that get everybody motivated enough to get this other album out?
Sure.
Or am I going to keep on going? And surprisingly enough, everything kind of fell in place for this project, and I just kind of stuck with that. Reveille is a great example of a song that would have been a Marazine song and would have been part of that. We would have recorded that and done that song if we had stuck it out. So, but we didn't, and so now we're doing this now.
Do you still keep in contact with them?
No, not really. No. Yeah. We just drifted, and that's just that.
I understand. I remember the first time we talked way back, and I asked you about releasing an album, and you told me about, we're going to release these singles and kind of space them apart, and I thought, man, that is so smart today. Yeah. Instead of throwing the whole bag out there at once, you just giving pieces at a time.
It's still kind of the introductory phase. I've been saying this for a couple of years now as we've been working on it, but different things came up. Obviously, the Doyle stuff took up a portion of time, and some other stuff came up that took some time. But this is still kind of the introductory phase, and we're happy to finally get the second video out finally, and Juliet should be coming out. It won't take nearly as long. I think we're talking about having Juliet out by September.
Nice.
Sometime coinciding with these new tour dates that we've been kind of working on behind the scenes.
So what's your future, or what is your plan with the record? And I mean, what do you want to do? What's the big picture?
Well, what I would like to do is I'd just like to get out there and tour.
Yeah.
I mean, if the demand's there and we're able to get all the logistics together and go out there, there's no reason to do anything other than tour. I've been recording for the past several years. I think I wrote something like 70 songs, and I've got about 16 to 18 songs in development right now in the studio. And I've got the second EP is actually finished.
Oh,
and we've been filming videos for the second EP. So if everything goes right, we should be able to get that out in February, March, something like that next year, and just keep on rolling with it, and hopefully keep on doing as many shows as we can. So that's kind of what we're doing as of right now.
Like, it's funny to me, and you can ask Amy, my wife, whenever I talk about Beating the Suffering, you guys are like above my grade.
Oh.
I'm like, those guys they're up there already, you know, because I don't know how much you hear, but on my end of things, you're very coveted. I mean, Beating the Suffering is like, okay, that's real deal stuff right there.
Cool, thank you.
And
I was
good to hear.
excited to meet you.
yeah, I mean, you know, in my eyes, you did things in such a different way, you know, and it wasn't just concert, you know, video. It wasn't just you teased people and then you made them wait, and you have got a rabid following.
Cool.
You know, and it's I remember the first time we talked, you were like, "Hey, I live in the same town as you." I thought, "No way!"
Yeah.
Because you were like, "We had to run into each other." I was like, "I don't think so," but I'm so everything you guys have put out. For me, it's cool because the whole electronic thing was exciting to me when it happened.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I went and saw Skinny Puppy, and
Sure.
I saw Skinny Puppy and Nine Inch Nails together at a little tiny club. It was awesome. So when I heard you guys, there wasn't really anybody else here doing that. It was, they called, you know, they're doing this and and it was good. It was quality. And I every time I listen to it, whatever it is you've got it right there, and you totally nailed it.
Thank you.
I'm a big fan, and everybody that whenever you're on the show, people are like, "Oh, who's that? Oh my God!" You know. So we're fans. We're big fans.
Thanks.
So you want to get out and you want to tour and you want to you just want to get out there and do it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we probably spent the past couple of years working on. We filmed 5 music videos. Like I said, we have a ton of music in production. So really, and like we finished up these mixes for the follow-up EP last fall. So it's all done. So we spent the first couple of years just production, just songs and recording and mixing, and then the videos.
That's such a smart way to do it, though, because you have a bank of stuff you've already done.
Stacks.
Yes.
So we're just.
You don't have to worry about taking time off to go record the record. You've already got stuff made. It's almost backwards, and it's beautiful of what most people do. I think it's awesome. I'm excited about it.
I definitely chose to go and try and get more of the media done before we started focusing more on shows. Covering all this stuff. The way we've been doing it is kind of tricky, just because of the amount of money involved and stuff.
Absolutely,
it's hard to You're talking about studio costs. You're talking about mixing. You're talking about video production. You're talking about trying to figure out a way to get it out there beyond just throwing it on a Facebook page.
Right.
And publicists and everything. So it's stacking up, and then you're talking about a tour. Well, we don't want to just go out there and do a regular, where everybody plugs in and just, jumps around. We have scrims, and we're trying to, invest more in some lights and more of a show, more of a production. So that's.
We talk about this all the time, and I've always said, if you want to leave a mark on somebody, you better make a memory. You got to do a show, and you guys are very theatrical. There's a lot of. Theatrical might not be the right word. It's an impression. Mm-hmm. It's not just a bunch of guys banging their head. I mean, it is like a show, and that's an important deal.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. The videos are great. The music's great.
Thanks.
And I think your plan is amazing.
Thanks.
So, this may not be relevant to anybody else, but do you consider yourself a Chicago musician or an Oklahoma musician?
Definitely more of a Chicago, Midwestern,
Yeah.
There's definitely a different approach down here. I think there's a little bit more of a southern metal vibe down here. I'm really happy with everything that I've done down here in terms of what we've created. So I think, coming down here, I took a few classes up at Rose and learned my way around. I grabbed a DAW, sat there and just worked at it nonstop, and we started writing all this music, and that's how we did that. So I think that the process has been a lot of purging from a lot of the time I spent in Chicago and Minneapolis. So
Yeah.
I mean, I think it just it just worked out the way it did, and I couldn't be more happy that I was able to actually complete a lot of this stuff down in this area. So
Well, I think that this area gives you an advantage. Like I said, when I heard it, I was like, finally, there's
a little bit of isolation doesn't hurt.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Oh.
so I was able to focus and not be too distracted. Now, for the past probably a year and a half, especially since Doyle and since we started putting together the live show in 2014, been a few more distractions, and you know, it's really the focus is try to go from one of these. You know, you're either focusing on getting something out there to everybody, or you're focused on the show, or you're focused on writing, or you're in the studio. They're pretty big, immersive. You know, kind of. You need to focus on those things if they're going to turn out right. So.
I couldn't agree more. We talk about this all the time. You've got to have your product, and it's got to be good, and it's got to be real good, and you've got to make an impression. And I mean, I think that's what you guys did. So tell everybody, number one, where they can get the EP. I saw that it's on CD Baby. Is it on iTunes as well?
Yeah, it's pretty much everywhere digitally.
Okay.
Yeah. And then as far as the CD, you can order it from us on our website. We have a store, one of those Envy stores set up.
Okay.
If you're out of the continental U.S., you can get it at CD Baby.
Okay.
That's where we set up CD Baby. They handle all the foreign stuff.
Right on.
It's a lot more cost effective for them to send shipping and all that stuff.
Right, sure, absolutely.
That's how we have it set up.
Digitally everywhere, though.
iTunes, Spotify, whatever you're looking for.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then what about when can we see you guys live again, do you know?
We're just, actually, I'm heading to Colorado this weekend to work with some guys about setting that up this weekend. So as soon as I come back, I'll have a real good idea of where we're at.
Great.
I know that we have an initial batch of shows booked for September.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're playing Colorado, Phoenix, and Albuquerque, so we're kind of hitting that southwest area, kind of as a warm up, and then we'll see how everything. You know, it's just what evolves one step at a time. If this weekend goes great, you know, we'll keep on looking for more shows for October.
Sure.
And if everything goes good, and those, we'll just keep it going.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, did you mention something to me about Revolver? Was Revolver involved in premiering the video?
Right, yeah. Revolver world premiered the video this past Monday, so that was pretty cool.
That's awesome. That's a big deal, man, because that's a huge deal.
We're pretty happy.
Yeah, I would imagine. So, well...
If you need more zombies for it next time...
She'll be a zombie.
I'll totally
For sure. You know, I've been talking with some different people about possibly doing one or got a couple ideas we could still... I know that we try to do something different in each thing there, and
I was bummed he didn't get to go do it.
I wanted to, because I was going to come to the Lawton shoot, and I couldn't. I don't remember what happened, but there was a family
tell you,
thing.
that Lawton shoot
was cold.
Was an experience all completely its own. It was a fluke, and as far as the weather, where we ended up with this ice storm, and we're all just out there freezing everything. I mean, just you know. It was really something. It was really cold, and everybody, and I couldn't. There's probably about a dozen zombies that stuck it out. We kept on switching coats and switching, so that we could use them more, you know, or change hair, you know, up, down, whatever. So there's a few people that got a few really cool, you know, scenes like that. But they were amazing, and the video is so it's got a snow zombie vibe, which you don't see a whole lot of. Most of it's, you know, I know that Dead Snow was the movie that it was cool. But ours is definitely right there, and it's really cool because all that we're doing is the zombies are just chasing the whole time. It's just a sprint.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. Good stuff.
I just kept thinking to myself, there's a bunch of guys in Lawton going, you see them girls out there dressed up like zombies?
Probably thought they were real zombies and not just dressed up.
What kind of beer you been giving me, Bill? Jesus.
Yeah.
Right.
We had this whole industrial area right over in the corner, and it was, we had the whole place, and it's pretty cool.
It reminded me of that place in New Orleans, remember they were talking about shooting movies, that was kind of like that in Lawton. It was so cool looking. I was really bummed I wanted to come. But then after everybody was coming back going, I lost 3 toes because of frostbite. I was like, well, maybe I heard it was really cold, and Misty was telling me about it and stuff. So.
Yeah, okay.
Misty's so cool. She's great.
She's been a huge help.
Yeah, she's really great. Man, is there anything you want to tell everybody? You know, I think we've hit a lot of stuff.
I think we have. I'm not sure what else is there to...
When will you be back on our show?
I don't know.
Yeah, once you get real big and super famous, will you just come back and just...
Of course.
Just come back anytime. You don't have to be...
Just sneeze on the door. We'll be happy with that.
Sneeze on the door. Just come by anytime.
I want to say to everybody that you have been the most normal, coolest... and I've met some guys in bands that are playing like the Blue Fox down the road that think they're Motley Crue. You know, and you've always just been super cool and super nice, and I appreciate that a lot. It's, especially for a guy like me that's trying to do this in Oklahoma City, that you have been super awesome.
I noticed the Moose show has been kind of getting...
Man, we tried.
We went from baby moose to big...
we're trying to be bigger moose, yes. It is, but I say it all the time, you guys are the stars. I mean, I get on there and I'm dumb, and then there's awesome music. You know, so it is getting bigger, but it's because of bands like you guys that are putting out awesome product. I'd be nothing without you guys, and I can't thank you guys enough. It's so cool.
Thanks.
Well, listen, everybody, make sure and go to your digital platform and buy the new Beauty and the Suffering EP. It's out, The Crazies, get it, and make sure and go. The video should be on Revolver's website then, right?
Right. It's on YouTube.
Oh, right on. So
Facebook,
check it out.
It's all over the place.
Awesome, man.
That's great.
And we are so glad you came to the Moose, and I appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
We'll put this up, and I'll get you a link and all that stuff. Okay?
Yeah.
Thanks, teacher.
Sounds good.
Appreciate it, man. All right. I will...
All right, I'm just finished.
The metal moves on the air across the globe, he's everywhere. See no dust all over the place.